Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, Justice League Annual Issue number 1. No, the stuff that's on here does not actually happen. That'd be pretty sick if it did, right? So let's get started talking about who made this comic book so we can start talking about the book itself. Scott Snyder and James Tynion share story credits. James Tynion IV does the words. Daniel Sampere does the pencils. The inks are done by Juan Albarrán, and Adriano Lucas does the colors. Tom Napolitano on letters. The cover is by Yannick Paquette and Nathan Fairbairn. So, bang, dude. Let's see. There's seriously a lot to unpack here. Starman discovered who is admittedly, in the book, he's admittedly a second-tier superhero. But when he was brought back by Luthor, he was made to realize something more about himself because he was able to hear the multiverse. He still can. At one point he heard it screaming. Somebody else can hear a part of the multiverse, more specifically the Omega Titans, and that's Hawkgirl. Now mind you, this Hawkgirl, not Hawkwoman, so this is Kendra Sanders, not Shiera. You have to understand the history of Hawkwoman. Go check out 10 Things About Hawkwoman Explained in a Minute on Comic Book University. Basically, Starman explains to her that she can actually, it would potentially be a sacrifice, and most likely would be in any event, that she could sacrifice herself and set everything in order, put the Omega Titans into hibernation so that there wouldn't be any more need for the walls of the source, the tenets of the source wall to be opened, which is important because they don't actually want the source source wall to be opened. Don't build that wall. Don't, yes, in this case, definitely build that wall. Don't break down that wall. Well, the one time when a wall might actually work. So these knuckleheads, man, they're doing everything they can because this is their plan. They're doing everything within plan. In fact, there's a couple things that are sidelong plans. What do you call it? In order to keep Kendra's mind preoccupied from the pain, the intense pain that she will surely be in, Martian Manhunter goes and creates a sort of a psychic world for her that her conscious can remain in so that her mind is detached from her body. Sort of like a way of, kind of like how trauma, you're able to forget what's happening and put yourself in a different place while something terrible is happening to you. That's kind of like what would happen here. And that was interesting. And it's enough to elicit a kiss from Hawkgirl to John Johns, Martian Manhunter, which is interesting. I don't think they're going to go any further with it. I hope they don't go any further with it. It's not going to change anything because she's Hawkgirl, not Hawkwoman. It's not really the same. But, I get it. Now that both exist. No, Shiera, I think Shiera is a little different in this regard. I think she's more important to the Hawk story. So that doesn't really bother me as much, but I could see how it would bother many, many who love the Hawk world. What they didn't plan on, however, was, and I don't know why they didn't, because the signs were so evident from the most recent issue of Justice League. What was that, issue 14, I think? Where, hey, guess what? It turns out that freaking the Legion of Doom has their own plans. We saw in a much earlier issue of Legion of Doom that Brainiac was going to join the team, and here we see the fruition of that. I don't know how much longer he's going to stay with the team, probably just until he gets the information he needs from, here we go, Perpetua, because her first true full appearance is in here. She's not talking in this per se, but you get to see the full entity of her spirit self, her cosmic self, and the actual physical avatar body. So both forms here. She's not conscious in this, but I don't think that's a prerequisite to calling this an actual first appearance. So there's not an in the shadow appearance or a mention or, behind the scenes or anything like that. This is her first bodied appearance, and non-bodied appearance, but you get what I'm saying. So boom, that could potentially be a very important aspect here. We're talking about the creator, the purpose for the source wall. Soon, we're probably going to see the beings that imprisoned her in the source wall, because that's what's indicated here. That might wind up turning into an event in and of itself, and it should be a pretty big event at that. A lot happened here, man. A whole lot happened, and the whole plan, of course, turns topsy-turvy because they simply did not have the I mean, Batman's right there, and yet somehow Batman didn't think, hey, what if there's a counterattack? What if the Legion of Doom comes in to attack us? Why wouldn't Batman think that? That's the one huge glaring problem that I have with this. Batman was right there. As far as minor problems, it's like Mira was there for whatever reason. I don't know. She barely said anything. If she said anything at all, nothing was memorable. She was on maybe 2 panels, for crying out loud. All of the Justice League, including Superman, seemed to be mostly useless in this regard. And Superman probably had more to do with this story than anybody else, action-wise at least. But nobody really was able to contribute much to this. The only one who really had any sacrifice to give was Hawkgirl, and that didn't actually come to fruition, even though she was yelling at them, "No, let me continue." The trick that Brainiac used was effective. Simple, yet effing effective. Very believable. You know what I'm saying? It only had to work for a couple seconds, and it worked. It worked flawlessly. So the totality is now more powerful than we expected it was going to be, and it was already ridiculously powerful. Let's just put it this way. Everybody goes into a full retreat, which is something that you wouldn't expect. The Guardians, yes, I can see that, but the Green Lanterns, listening to them in this regard, did not expect that. The New Gods, yes, they were involved in this. Wow. So people getting jacked up in this issue. This is a very crucial turning point for the Justice League comic book, and depending on, I think that most of the events that are going to happen are going to involve the Justice League as opposed to individual characters. They're going to be those world-shattering things, and this is, in fact, multiverse shattering. This is like a crisis. I don't know what's going to be reset or if anything will be reset, but this has the exact feel of a crisis-level event. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here. Here's Perpetua, the mother of the Monitor, and all of the Monitors and the Anti-Monitor. This ain't gonna be easy. This is not gonna be fun. Buckle up. So I enjoyed this comic book, despite any glaring problem. It was a thing. It was necessary for the story. Whatever, I'm willing to let it go. Batman could always have a plan later on, that turns around and, so what I've been thinking is, and okay, you're redeemed. And that can happen at any moment in this story. But the story itself, I liked it. And of course, the art, man, absolutely gorgeous. From facial expressions, which weren't overt, saying they're just exactly enough, exactly what they needed to be. So you weren't focused too much on things like that. The art wasn't necessarily what was telling the story here, but it was like it was kind of like the I'm gonna compare this in a way to Pink Floyd. Nothing outshined each other. They all went in perfect harmony to tell a beautiful story. Hey, I wonder if Bill Maher would have a problem with freaking music also, because that's multiple forms of literature all, tied together. But I'm sure that he actually likes Pink Floyd while he's smoking his doobies. Anyway, F that guy. But this comic book, no F anywhere near it. I'm giving this an A if, I were still giving letter grades. This was really fun. All right, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.